Hey everyone, today we're talking about ideating to solve the problem. So if you just watched the lecture on identifying and understanding the problem, this is the natural next step. So now we're going to start thinking about ways that we can solve this problem that we found is pervasive, that we found is important, that we found is worth attacking, and that we found we have the skills on our team to attack. So we're going to talk through all of the different ways you can ideate to solve that problem, whether it's a brand new one, whether it's an existing problem that maybe you haven't fully solved in the past. We're going to talk about the people to involve. And by the end of this, you'll have a really great perspective on the right way to develop the ideas that eventually will lead to the tickets, the work, the journey that your team goes on to solve that problem. So let's jump right in. So, it's a natural next step, as I talked about, to, after deciding on those problems, whether they're new or existing, to kind of set aside some time for ideation. There's going to be pressure to kind of jump right in on the first ideas you can think of. You may have great intuition, you may have a great understanding of the space, and want to just start solving that problem right away. And so I'd caution you, again, slow down here, make sure to involve a diverse group of people, and you're going to try and map the biggest possible solution set. So your goal of ideation is not to filter everything down to the perfect solution. It's not to think about the exact way you're going to build the features to address that problem. Rather, it's to gather as many different diverse ideas as possible. So you want to gather these diverse ideas from many different places. So we'll talk about the people you want to involve in this session, but a little spoiler alert, it's not only going to be the product team. It's not only going to be the team that's actually going to work on building the problem. It's going to be a diverse group. It's going to be a group of kind of more free thinkers. It's going to be a group that can get you that really, really wide set of potential solutions. Really important here too, and we'll talk about this more. You want to ignore many of the limitations that we know are out there. So you don't want to worry about legal limitations. You don't want to worry about limitations maybe of just the exact technology stack that you have at your current company. You can set all those aside for today for ideation. And really, you're going to set aside a lot of time, but even on the initial kickoff of this ideation, want to set aside at least an hour. And so you have your problem. Maybe you have a couple related problems that you've decided are worth attacking. And so start to think about, in an ideal world, right? A perfect world, no constraints. What does a solution look like to this problem? What are the different components of that solution? What are the different ways that they solve that problem? Does each of them solve a part of it? Does one solve it okay? And then the next ones kind of make it better and better. Start mapping that out on a whiteboard, on Post-it notes, whatever is most comfortable for you as the product manager and the team. And then one of my favorite things too is to start kind of eliminating some of those features. So what of those features are just fluff, or maybe things that don't actually help solve that problem? What could you kind of live without? Also important, you're going to learn a lot more about that problem as you start thinking about solutions. So maybe you missed some related problems that you actually have to solve. Maybe the problem is much bigger than you thought, or maybe it's actually simpler than you thought. But in short, just make sure you're tracking all of these different steps as you go through ideation. So this was just an intro. We're going to jump deeply into each of these items and kind of break down how you can run a great ideation session for your team as you move into new feature development, new product development, or development on existing products that your company already has.